Welcome to this online course, You Create Pain and Choose Pleasure. Part of you probably inside is going, oh my goodness, you mean I create the pain in my life? Surely it's other people, surely it's circumstances, surely it's things outside my control that creates pain for me, not myself. But I'm speaking to that part of yourself that really is ready to claim and see and take responsibility for what's happening inside so that you can create something else rather than pain, that you can choose pleasure. So because you're watching this online course, you're ready for that. So there might be even aware of two parts of yourself. One part going, I'm not sure if I want to be responsible for creating pain. But there's another part of you that's jumping with joy and thinking, well, great, I like to get back to recognition that I am a powerful being that creates my reality, that creates how I experience life, that creates perceptions. And so this is going to be a journey that we're going to go gently together. It'll be a journey that'll transform how you see and perceive everything around you. You'll find yourself with more energy, with more lightness. You'll find yourself laughing at how you see things. And this is going to be an experience that you'll have fun. We'll be looking at practical exercises, and I'll be bringing in examples from my own life. So let's look again at the title, You Create Pain and Choose Pleasure. And we're going to break that down. And the first section we're going to talk about is You Create Pain. And then the second section is about You Choose Pleasure. And then actually we have a third section, which is how you change from pain to pleasure. Because all very well when you're in a great space and you're feeling happy and you have pleasurable thoughts, that's fine. But what happens when you've already chosen or created a painful experience for yourself? How do you change from that experience into choosing pleasure, choosing happiness? So we've got three sections, and actually I've just listed the three sections here. The first one is create pain. Second section is choose pleasure. And the third section is change from pain to pleasure. And these three sections, actually, we're going to look at all those three in three different ways. So we're going to have 9 presentations in total. So here, let's have a look at the 3 different ways we're going to be looking at creating pain, choosing pleasure, and changing from pain to pleasure. And number 1 here at the top is the number 1 way that we create pain for ourselves. And I've put circumstances at the top, and what circumstances mean is the people or events in our life, what they do and what they say. So when our partner makes a mess of the room, when our partner forgets our birthday, burns the toast, when we're late for our flight and we miss it, when we don't get that promotion at work, when we get a medical report saying that there's something going on with our body, when a friend lies to us, all these are circumstances up here. And what we do to create pain, the number 1 way, the first way that we do to create pain for ourselves, is we make a connection between the circumstances and our feelings. So we have our pain and pleasure down here, directly related. The arrow goes all the way down to our painful feelings and our pleasurable feelings because of what's happened. So the pleasurable feelings obviously is when our partners and friends are just meeting all our needs and we're having a great time, and we see that we connect our pleasurable feelings to what they're doing and what they're saying. And life feels wonderful when we're on holiday in a beautiful location, because again we're connecting the circumstances to how we're feeling. That's the number 1 way of creating pain for ourselves, because that really disconnects us to who we truly are. You might find that surprising, and we don't realize that. And part of this training is to look at the cost we have for making circumstances the cause of how we feel, making circumstances the cause of our pain and our pleasure. And the second way that we create pain and choose pleasure is our thoughts. So this is the second way. So it's not the circumstances anymore that are causing our feelings of pain and pleasure. It's our thoughts. My two favourite thoughts that cause pain are, you let me down. We're talking to someone else, we're saying, you let me down. So that's a thought about what they're doing. They may not have turned up for the meeting. They may not have to keep an agreement that we talked about. But we have this thought that they let us down. And of course that's going to cause hurtful feelings. It's going to cause pain in our lives if we're coming up with that thought that you let me down. Another thought is not about the other person. Another favourite thought of mine is not about the other person, but it's about yourself. And that thought would go, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be treated in a certain way. And of course, other people don't treat us that way, the way we want, with respect, because we have this inner thought about ourselves that I'm not good enough, that I don't deserve something, that I'm not worthy. And those thoughts are extremely painful. And if we want to continue thinking those thoughts, we're going to experience pain in our lives. And of course, we can choose pleasurable thoughts. We can choose, instead of I'm not good enough, I'm doing my best, everything is working out okay. And we have a choice of thoughts, and our thoughts are the number 2 cause of creating pain and choosing pleasure in our life. And for the third one, we're going to move away from this circle, because the circles got connected with thoughts and feelings, and we act to change circumstances, we act to have different results in our life. And so we're caught up here in an identification of a body. The you that chooses thoughts, the you that connects circumstance to feelings, is a you that's in a body, a you that's an individual person walking around in this world. But maybe that's not the truth. Maybe you're not an individual person. Maybe your thoughts you're having as an individual identity come from somewhere else, are a result of something else. Maybe the circumstances and the way you perceive and experience circumstances are a result of something that's beyond your individual identity. And so for the third way that we create pain, we're going to look at choice. And I'm going to put choice here in the middle, because it's not in the circle. The choice that I'm talking about is a choice that's not a choice as an individual separate person. It's a choice from the perspective of spirit, a perspective of what's happening deep inside ourselves, but not inside our body. It's beyond our body. You could call it on the level of mind, on the level of spirit. It's going deep within ourselves to who we truly are. But from this place of spirit, of mind, beyond physical, beyond time, we have made a choice for pain. I often talk about it, we make it a choice for fear. And that choice in our mind, that choice deep within ourselves, is why we have thoughts that are painful, why we perceive painful circumstances in our lives. It's because we've already made a choice that now we're not aware of, because we think we're out here on this outer circle and we've forgotten about our true identity that's beyond this body that lives and dies. It's beyond time. And so we need to get back into connection with the self that is making this choice in our mind. And that's the self I was talking about at the start, where that self is leaping up and down inside you with joy, because that self wants to be remembered and recognized and acknowledged for what's going on there, so that we can make different choices. We can change from pain to pleasure if we're working at that level. So we're going to go through the first, second and third ways of how we create pain, how we choose pleasure, and how we change from pain to pleasure. And that'll make up the 9 segments of this training. So each of these 9 segments will have start off with me standing in front of a flip chart like I'm doing just now, and I'll give an introduction to that section. And then after that, it will be a slide presentation where you'll hear my voice, but you won't see me, and I'll talk you through slides so we can look at those together. We can do exercises, we can look at practical examples from other people. And there will of course be PDFs to download of all the slides, of the exercises, and you can put those all together and it becomes a very practical, doable course. It also will have a bit of theory, it'll have diagrams, and it'll be lots of fun. We're going to keep it light, and we're going to keep it in a way that is really useful for your everyday life, that you can start applying this material straight away in your life. So I invite you to go along now and go along to the first section, section 1, which is about you create pain. And we'll look, first of all, do circumstances create the pain in your life? Thank you.